Well, the European Council, which represents the governments of the EU member states, is about to release its latest assessment of the EU-Turkey Joint Action Plan. And Matthew Moore joins me now on set for more on this. Now, Matthew, what are we expecting to see out of this assessment?
Well, if the European Commission's report, which was released about 24 hours ago, is anything to go by, the European Council should say that this deal has been a great success in terms of reducing the numbers of refugees and irregular migrants coming from Turkey across the Aegean and into Greece. By their own figures, we're talking about reducing it from thousands to a few dozen. The United Nations says the number making that journey has been reduced by about 90% since March the 20th, which is when the deal came into effect, and noticeably since April the 4th, which is when the deportations from Greece back to Turkey began. The Commission President, Jean-Claude Juncker, said we are breaking the cruel business model of people smugglers. But the Turks are going to be watching for this report coming out and seeing if the European Union is prepared to keep its end of the bargain, in particular in relation to the visa-free travel for Turks, which was promised if this happened. Now, Jean-Claude Juncker went on to say that Turkey has not met all of the criteria for visa liberalisation, and the European Union isn't prepared to water that criteria down. Now, there are 72 measures by which Turkey will be measured, and one of them, for example, is documentation security. In other words, making sure that if the visa restrictions are lifted, that people are not using false documents or compromised documents in any way, because of course that would open up the pathway again for people smugglers to exploit that. Now, Turkey's Prime Minister has been speaking in the last 48 hours, and he said actually Turkey has met nearly all the criteria. They've gone from 72 down to single digits. So they are demanding that by June, as promised, the Turks will have visa-free travel. And we will find out, the key date now is May the 4th, when the European Commission will release its final report and will then advise whether or not the European Union should move forward with granting Turkey visa-free travel.
Okay, interesting, and that probably will remain a fairly contentious issue. It was one of the agreement, or was part of the wider agreement that was struck between the EU. So we wait with bated breath. Thank you very much, Matthew, for that update there.